Because now I know when something happens in our lives that is unexpected, you have to go into it in order to ever have any hope of coming through it. So when you go, guess what? When you come out the other side, you grow.
Brought out more in me than I thought that I didn't even know that I had.
That has given all of us a great hope for what we can do with our own messages, our abilities to deliver, but most importantly, to deliver it in an authentic and very, very intriguing way.
Have you ever been in something or felt something where the only way you felt you could deal with it was to leave, get away? I thought that was the meaning of control. It took me 4.5 years to stop looking around the room of my life, of my journey, of my purpose, digging in cushions for a remote that never existed. Looking, re-looking, going back and upgrading, bringing in and pulling out things that do not serve you must go. Those things out in this world that are designed to bring us down, to keep us down, put their foot on our neck and whisper to us that we're never good enough, they don't whisper. They yell at us from all directions, top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner, 365 days. When somebody asks you about yourself, don't you dare whisper. When they ask you to raise your hand, don't you dare half raise it. When they ask you something good about you, you scream it with all you have. Come on now, get up, get up. Tell me who you are. Show me who you are. Greatest truth of all, that not everyone has to remain lost. It's a great day in the morning, in the neighborhood, in the world, everywhere. That's pretty much what it means. How are you? Look at you, looking great as always. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and outside of Fiji, I don't think there's anywhere else in the world I'd rather be than right here with you. And why is that? Well, primarily because together we are fulfilling one of the greatest promises available. That is the one that guarantees us that when two or more of us comes together, and we've got that spirit of togetherness, that agreement, if you will, that covenant, that place, that sacred space where two or more come together, spiritual magic happens. And it happens here on Bathrobe Moments every day, 5 days a week. And it's because of you. So welcome. Couldn't do it without you. Oh, what is that? You know what it is. It's the bell of purpose. It's a real thing. It is not a show gimmick. It's not a prop. I like to refer to it as an opportunity, if you will. Why? Because just like that bell has a ring to it, well, so does the truth. get your content. I know it's busy times in our lives, but we should never be too busy that we miss the truth, right? So there it is. Can I get an amen? Put it in the comments. There you go. Oh, I'm so happy to be here today. It's Thursday, y'all. We're almost there. I can see the finish line. How are you doing this week, right? So listen, a lot of things been happening around. Everything on the news, of course, is about the Queen. She is today, which was started hours ago for them, on her way for her last trip to Buckingham Palace, where she will remain in state overnight. Then they're going to move her to Westminster for the service, which I believe is tomorrow. Or is that today? I get the time zones confused. But anyway, we want to just send our love and light to all of the people. Queen Elizabeth, boy, what a woman, right? So welcome to the show. She's my sidekick. You guys know she's here every day and has been for 6 years. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. So today, I'm so excited. I really am. We have the incredible Diane Forster here. She is just an incredible person. She does so many things. She's an inventor. Well, I don't want to get into the bio yet, but she's on the E360 television network. She has a wonderful show entitled I Have Today. And that's really all we have today, right? So when you're in it, be in it. Do something with it. Can I get an amen? Put that in the comments. So let me tell you a little bit about this wonderful person known as Diane Forster. Well, get ready. I can't even go through all of it because there's just so much, but I'll let her fill in between the blanks when she gets in here. She's an award-winning inventor. That's right. I said inventor. That means she created something that had never been here. So we want to hear about that today. She's also a best-selling author, a TEDx speaker, television host, podcaster, intentional living expert. Write that down. You don't hear that every day. And a reinvention specialist. Now, she works with clients privately and helps them to clear away mindset blocks and limiting beliefs that can block them from reaching their full potential in business, in life, in relationships. She's got a bunch of awards under her belt, but we're going to go into get ready. Her career actually began in advertising and television sales, including Disney and ABC, and she's also the inventor of the Spifter. Don't leave that T out. You'll get one of those. It's a fun kitchen tool that won an innovation award at the International Houseware Show right here in my backyard, Chicago. She's been featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, QVC, on and on and on and on and on, everywhere. And now Bathrobe Moments. Yay. So she's also, this is a fun little note, she's also the mother of twins. And she lives in San Diego, California. She says that her mission is to see that 1 billion, with a B, people who don't know their self-worth discover their true divinity. Now, you don't hear that very much. Your true divinity. Do you know your true divinity? Are you aware of it? Have you embraced it? If so, put it in the comments. That's a good one. And she also wants people to discover their power as well as their purpose. So now she's a first timer. So you know what we do? We roll out the virtual red carpet and we pour our hearts into the conversation. And we also throw some hearts on the screen because that is our virtual way of applauding. So get ready, get your questions ready, share this broadcast out. I guarantee you they will thank you, whoever receives it. Here she comes, Diane Forster. I'm starting with the bell. Hi.
Hello. Happy today, Lauren. How are you?
I'm awesome. I really am. I kind of have some voice today, so I'm excited. I'm hoping that stuff they gave me to like bring my voice back works. How are you though?
I'm fabulous. I'm so excited to be spending time with you. And good morning to everyone who's here. Sending you all so much love. So
You know,
yeah.
I just want to say you're set. I don't mean to put it in, but it's so peaceful. It's calming.
Yeah.
And I know it's intentional. You look fabulous. And thank you, West Coaster, for getting up with the crack of dawn, literally. It's 2 hours earlier there, a little after 6 a.m. And being here with us. I really, really appreciate that. And I know you guys do too. Say thank you to Diane in the comments, won't you please? Diane, I'm going to dip out for just a couple minutes, let you have some personal time with the audience. Then I'll come back and we'll get started. How's that sound?
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
All you.
Okay. And I'm seeing all your comments here. Robert, thank you. I've achieved omnipresence. Well, I'll talk about that in a little while in our interview. And I just want to say good morning to everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Well, you're so welcome, Shannon. Well, hey, everybody. I am so honored to be here. As Lauren said, I am a host on the E360 TV network. I want to say Lauren and I have been hosts almost the same length of time. I know he started before I did. And I do a weekly show. It's on Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And as he said, it's called I Have Today, which is the name of my first book. And my story, I'm going to give you a little backstory on how I became this intentional living expert and you know, how an inventor, multiple best-selling author, multiple award-winning life and mindset coach. Like, how did all of this happen to me and for me? Of course, it was a journey. And I want you to know that anything worth that you achieve in your life, worth striving for, when you start to get the accolades and the rewards and things like that, man, was there a backstory? Of course there was. And so my backstory is that I started out, I'm going to share a little bit about my story. I'm going to do it in 3 parts, but they're all going to kind of come together. And so I'm loving all the love I'm getting. Good morning. Sending you guys so much love. Happy today. So my background story is I started out in advertising and television sales. As Lauren said, I worked in that industry for 32 years. I worked in the ad business in LA for 8 years. And then I moved to Chicago, where Lauren is, and moved into television sales. And I worked at a couple of rep firms before landing at ABC. I spent 20 years at ABC, and I was in ad sales. So I've always been around media. I've always been around television. You know, I used to be a media buyer. I used to buy television and buy radio and do, account work. And I've worked on so many brands in my career, from the, small mom and pop shops to the largest corporations in the world. And then when I switched to work in television sales, I sold advertising for the ABC owned and operated television stations. I sold over $100 million in my career. It was a very, very successful career for me.
Were you working on commission?
I wish.
I know, huh? You wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. So that was an amazing career for me until it wasn't. I'd been in it a long time, and there was this calling for me to be doing something else. Okay. So that was kind of going on inside of me. And I was in a marriage and a relationship to, he was a good man, but we were not good together. And I was very, very unhappy. And I didn't tell anybody about how unhappy I was. And I stayed in that relationship for 20 years. And so the packaging of my life looked so good. I had a great job, great money, husband, the kids, the dogs, the cars, the travel. I had it all. I had all the things that I thought I wanted. Why wasn't I happy? And so staying in that relationship that long, what happened to me is my soul and spirit started chipping away each and every day. You can't just keep that level of unhappiness and unfulfillment inside of you. And it led to a suicide attempt, which shocks so many people when they hear this about me.
Just did it to me.
They're like, you of all people. Yeah, me. You never know what's going on with someone. And that's where we have to be really, excuse me. Ooh, and my mom's coming through me. My throat just closed up. We have to be really aware and pay attention to how people are reacting and responding. And anyway, it led to a suicide attempt, and I experienced a God moment in the bathroom. I had the pills in my hand. I was ready to end my life and crying, saying, I just can't take this pain and loneliness anymore. And my arm got karate chopped, and the pills fell to the floor, and a voice screamed in my ear, you are not ending your life this way, Diane. You need to go get help so you can tell your story and you can help others. And I threw my hands in the air and I said, well, you need to show me the way.
I know, that's right.
And the next day I reached out for help. I called a therapist and I said, I need help. I am changing my life. And all of a sudden, the path started revealing itself to me. It was as if the universe, God, spirit, whatever you believe, was waiting for this moment for me to just change my life. And so I started this path of healing, of falling in love with myself. That's what was missing all along. I didn't truly love myself. I didn't honor myself. I didn't set healthy boundaries for myself. I gave up on my dreams. I just was a victim in my own life. And what started happening is I got delved deep into personal development and started waking up. All my psychic intuitive abilities started lighting up. Ideas were coming to me. It's just all this creativity.
Yeah.
And so I came up with this idea for a kitchen product. In the kitchen one day, I was making deviled eggs. This is such a left field.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm a show.
What?
Don't tell them about the spifter yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm a show. But
Anyway,
there's some great points in there, and
yeah.
I want us to back the car up and
Okay.
just put it in neutral there for a second. First of all, because yesterday we have a monthly show called Ask the Experts, and our topic actually yesterday was calling versus career, the difference between the two. So we had a whole hour talking about that. So it's very interesting that you bring that in today. So I want to ask you, because I believe a lot of us don't realize that oftentimes, well, from the beginning, because we're here, we beat the greatest odds known to man just being born. That means we're chosen. But what is greater than is waiting for us somewhere along the path to choose our purpose in return because of the free will element. So when you were in the bathroom, because that happened to me, I wish there was a way. Can you imagine if we saw like a sizzle reel of all of those moments for all of us? It would make us so connected. It would, because no one, like you said, no one thinks you, Diane. Wait a minute, that's not the response I get when I say I tried it. They're like, I figured that. No, I'm just kidding. But the thing about it is, I love that you go right back to that concise moment. And when you said, so tell us, what do you think that was? When you said karate chopped your arm and the pills, what do you think that was? What do you know?
I totally know. And I'm going to try and say this without crying. I know it was my mother. My mother has been gone for 25 years. She is a powerful force in my life. She has been trying to come through me and support me and let me know that she's with me all the time. There were so many whispers and nudges and things that happened leading up to that point, and she stopped it. She's so powerful. She can close windows and move things. I know 100% it's her, because Lauren, who I am now, my ability now, not only to to hear and to know and to feel, but I can see. And about 5 years ago, was it 5 years ago? Maybe 4 years ago, I had my first sighting of her, full sighting of her. And I see her now all the time.
See?
So,
No, go on.
yeah.
Like, I knew
So
it.
I know for a fact it was her. I know it was her, screaming at me, go get help. You need to, and there's this collective, I have so much support, as we all do when we really tap into this. And where it led me, my goodness, to where I am today, like to just like snapshot it, I can't, because so many pieces collided to create the Diane Forster I am today, right now, on my path to becoming the Diane Forster I'm going to be tomorrow, and in the future, a year from now, right? So I didn't understand the value of that moment until 2 years later. Like, it happened, and it was sort of, I don't know, maybe you've experienced this in your life, Lauren, that the epiphanies kind of come through a little bit later, like, oh, wow, that was way more powerful than I realized at that point. So that's definitely what it was. It was my mother shaking me into changing my life and changing the direction.
Totally get it. My life changed right after I had out of all, because I met my mom when I was 32, And so I always looked at my other siblings as her real kids because they grew up with her. So when she was transitioning, I was the last one to go in. She was on hospice at home. Last 10 minutes. I didn't know at the time, but after I left, she died 2 minutes later. I think she waited for me. And so, and my life started changing immediately. Soon as she left, I was in a homeless shelter when she died. And my life started transitioning immediately. And I know she's always been intervening on my behalf. So you guys, for real, that's real stuff. Get it if you can, if you want it. Now, I want to ask you about this piece. When you, first of all those years that you were inside of a world that really wasn't serving you. And so who do you think you were staying for? Was it for the kids?
Well, I totally know what my mission was now. Okay. It was 100% to have that experience of raising my children, raising my twins. I was told by a doctor I would never have children. And I looked at him, my dear, sweet doctor who did everything he could. He said, we did everything we could. There's no way. And I just looked at him and said, that's not an option. Yeah. I will have children. And so I went through hell to conceive them. I went through hell to carry them. I went through hell to birth them. And they're, extraordinary beings in this world. And so part of my earthly human experience was to birth and raise those children, was to bring them in. Yeah. 100%. And so he was a good dad. And now this was a man who didn't want children. And he says it now because he can't imagine his life without them. Right. I was such a narcissist. And yeah. But he was a great dad, and it still is a great dad. And so I was meant to bring them into the world and have that experience. So looking at my life, obviously it was me who was unhappy, and it was me who was causing the unhappiness. I can point the finger out there, but I'm the one that's responsible for the condition of my life. So apparently that term, I don't want to say sentence, but that term was meant to be for 20 years in hindsight. Now I've been out of that marriage for, 10, 11, almost 11 years now. And that was more than, half the time that I was in it. I don't even, I'm such a different person now. Yeah. So when we're in those situations and we think, oh God, I've spent so much time here, I've invested so much time here, and we have that little glimmer of hope, like things might get better. That's why people stay in these narcissistic, abusive, toxic relationships, for that glimmer of that moment when things are okay. Right. We want to hope that they will get better again. So I think that was the reason. I was not able or capable to leave at that time. I needed to go through my awakening and my transformation and understand how truly powerful I am before I had the courage to leave. Now, yeah. And there was something, betrayal on his part. There was an affair going on. He's now married to that woman. That was his destiny. And that was the kick in the butt I needed to just finally break free. Yeah. So while that was a very challenging time, I'm totally over it. I forgive it all. I'm so grateful for my life now.
Absolutely. Yeah. You said something that is very important. And you guys, I don't know if y'all caught it, but we're going to catch it now. You said, because a lot of people, when they come through something and they've become a new person, they've awakened, et cetera, they will still refer to those times as like they would. A lot of people would have said, I wasted 20 years or whatever. But you said invested. How did you get to the point where you were able and still are able to identify the value of an experience? Because see, a lot of us, we run out of the burning house. There's no reason we could ever think at the time that I would want to go back to the proverbial scene of the crime. But trauma doesn't travel alone. I believe that in every moment of trauma, there's also a moment wherein a future blessing is born in the process of becoming. And when we become who we are, we awaken, as you so eloquently stated. We find we have more courage than we ever knew, and we can go back and pick up those things we left behind. Tell us what you feel are some of those things that you still daily are able, because you don't see them for what they really are until you have changed, forgiven, released, all those things that help us fulfill the fourth agreement of doing our best. So give us some examples, because there are people listening who are inside that room right now and cannot see, how can this be for me? Tell them about that.
It's all in my book I have today. It's a 3-step process. And I'm going to share with you guys. This is the thing that I discovered in my awakening.
Okay.
That I needed triggers. Yeah, shameless plug. But you know what? It is all in here.
It is.
It is. I needed things. I needed quick triggers that when I went to the dark place, or I was angry, or I started reliving something, or I wasn't forgiving, or I was blaming or shaming, or any of those things, I had to pull myself back and go, no, 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 the value. And here it is. It's called love it, thank it, bring it. That's the motto I live my life by. And that means love it is about your past. Thank it is about your now. Bring it is about your future. Love your life no matter what has happened, because every moment of it has been a gift. It has been there to teach you something, even and especially the pain. We didn't come to this experience, this earthly existence, to not have experience. We're always going to have experience, and those are those opportunities. I don't call them mistakes. I don't call them failure. I don't call them challenges. They're opportunities to grow. So it teaches us resilience, tenacity, grit, clarity about what we want. It teaches us so much. I had to get to that place where I could find the value and the gift in all of that. So I love my life no matter what. Thank it is being grateful for where you are right now, today, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter the amount of money in your bank account, no matter the number on the scale, no matter the conditions of your relationships. None of it is negative. It's all exactly perfection today. So if you can find the gratitude and appreciation for where you are right now, law of attraction, like attracts like, the more grateful you are, the more the universe will bring you things to be grateful for. And then bring it is the power piece. It's your future. How are you bringing it today? How are you going to intentionally design your life, create your life, live your life? How are you intentionally going to bring it in your health, in your career, in this interview, in every little moment of your life? You have that decision. So when I say, discover your true divinity, power, and purpose, that's what I mean. How do you know how incredibly divine you are? Do you know your power? Are you living with purpose? So love it, thank it, bring it goes through my mind all the time. And in the book, I explain what I just did. And then I teach you ways to bring it, because that's what you have today to do. So
here.
Yeah, So I have, Lauren, and it's a process. It's a daily reminder. There are things that come in my mind or experiences that happen that pull me back to that moment, maybe those feelings. And I got to be able to instantly get back to, love it, thank you, bring it. Like, just remember that. I do. I love it all. I'm so grateful, and I'm showing up in the power. And that's how I navigated through it and connected all those dots going back, finding the gift and the value in everything.
That's true. And one of the things that I really loved about what you said is that you brought a word in that most of us will automatically, when we hear it, picture something negative, and the word is triggers. And we were just talking about this yesterday. There are positive triggers as well. And so that could be a show in and of itself. Well, we're going to go to a break here in a minute. And when we come back, we're going to get into all these other things that you do. But before we go to break, I wanted to ask you about how you feel when you said that about gratitude. Give us an idea of when Diane Forster wakes up in the morning. Where do you start? Where do you reach? A lot of people reach for a cup of coffee, or they reach for this thing to see what happened when they were asleep. What does Diane reach for to create that trajectory to bring it, as you stated? Give us some of those some of those?
The very first thing I do when I wake up and when my feet hit the floor is I starfish my arms and legs. So like a starfish, I look
Okay.
up and I say, I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles, big and small. I notice them all. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
I know
So I
that.
set the intention. Oh, I got goosebumps.
I
Set
did
the,
too.
set the intention to the universe. I think I got them from you. That I expect miracles. And I'm so grateful. So that's the first thing I do. Then I go get my coffee and I sit and I totally enjoy it. And then I meditate, I
Mhm.
journal, and then I go move my body. I fuel my tank, spirit, mind, and body, nurture spirit, mind, and body before I do anything else.
That's it. Now, if you notice the progression there, she set the intention, but then she sends the intention. See, I used to be so messed up in the head when I'd hear my grandma say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I was like little going, well, then why would I want good intentions? It's going to lead me to hell. But now that I've awakened, I understand it's not the setting of intentions that the road is strewn with. It's the corpses of those of us who set those intentions, pulling the arrow back, if you will. But then for whatever reason, we never release it. We don't send the intentions. We don't follow through. We don't bring it. But we're going to bring it when we come back in just a minute or two. We're going to continue this wonderful illuminated conversation with Diane Forster. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what happened in her world once she changed her world. That and more. Don't go away. Great time to share out the broadcast. We'll be right back.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? Seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started. One story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm Lauren. And before we get our great guest back, Diane Forster, I wanted to remind you of something. November. Here in Chicago, it's going to be full of snow, which means when it comes, there's going to be a lot of colds. Now, a lot of us think that the only time that we need chicken soup is when we're in the midst of a cold. No, I have chicken soup at least twice a week. I prefer this one, Progresso. First of all, because it gives me options. This one is the light option. It is only 130 calories per can. It's filled with all natural everything. So don't wait until you're blowing your nose, coughing your head off to enjoy some wonderful chicken soup. Grab a can today. You won't be sorry. Progresso. You'll find it in the soup aisle at your local grocer. Okay. So Diane is going to come back in here. And welcome back. Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm having a great time.
Awesome. So are we. Now, we mentioned at the front end of the interview today that you're an inventor. And tell us a little bit about it. And then I'm going to show a clip from years ago where you were on a news show in LA. Because I recognize the broadcasters.
Oh, Janet Davies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell everybody.
Oh my gosh.
That's how it happened.
So here's what happened, you guys. We are all full of ideas, right? I was in the kitchen making deviled eggs for a holiday, and I love to cook and bake and entertain. I am so persnickety. Like, I think food should look as good as it tastes. My sisters call me Dianal because everything in my life has to be perfect. So when I went to put the paprika on the deviled eggs, too much spice shot out of the container and it ruined my dish in 1 second. And I saw in my mind this sifting spoon with a long handle and a little tiny sifting bowl and a tapping edge on it where I could just dip it in and then like tap the spice where I wanted to go. Because God, that would be so cool. So I set out on a quest to find this thing and I couldn't find it. And that voice said, Diane, you need to create this. So I'm out to dinner with friends a couple weeks later, and I said, I came up with this idea for a kitchen product. Do you know anyone in that business? And they did introduce me to him, and he tried to talk me out of it. And my mantra was, I just want to see where this goes.
Right.
So I filed the patent. I got the prototype made. And then I had my spoon. I was happy. I didn't know what I was doing next. But what happened was I was working at ABC at the time, and one of the producers in the building called me one day and said, hey, we're doing a local segment on local inventors, and we hear you're an inventor. We want to feature you on the news. And I said, I'm not an inventor. I just have a prototype. So they said, well, we don't care. We want to take products to all stages. So the on-air date was 6 weeks later. I scrambled to get a website done. I scrambled to get a logo done. And I had to find, capture information. I wanted to find out if people even wanted this. And Lauren, that appearance, hundreds and hundreds of orders of a product I didn't even manufacture. So I knew I was onto something. And so I went through the manufacturing process, and then that led to me going to the International Houseware Show in Chicago that year. And then I won an innovation award. There were 30,000 new products featured that year, and 65 were honored. And the Spifter was one of them. QVC was there. They came to my booth. They started placing orders with me to sell it online. And then about a year later, they called me and said, it's selling so well, we want to feature you on air. So where we sold out in 6 minutes. So just having that idea led to all of that. I had no idea what I was doing.
You're doing something with it.
Doing something about it.
Doing something with it. I believe many of us get those ideas. I had that with Apology Accepted in my 20s and didn't know it had never been in the world until I did it. Yeah. So I want to say this, though. I could use that now. I'm not kidding you. Because when I went in and actually looked at this footage, I was like, well, wait a minute, because I have a little miniature mason jar salt and pepper shaker that I empty the salt out of to put like this chicken spice that my grandma used to use that I have to order online and you can't buy it in stores, but you don't need much. So I don't, and it, you can't even go like this and it's right. And so I've been doing that. I'm like, well, there it is. So it's still missing from a lot of our lives. So we're going to show you guys what this is because we can still get it today, right?
Oh yeah, it's at Amazon. Yeah, for sure.
You guys take a look at this. I'm going to get one because that chicken seasoning is expensive and I'm tired of emptying things back and forth. Here we go.
Lots of money. A good invention can save time, it can improve safety, or might add a little fun to your life. ABC7's Janet Davies is here with more people who developed some new products that are now being sold in stores and on the internet. Janet. Back with some really great ideas from poor mom under ABC7, and you've come up with the Spifter.
The Spifter. It is a sifting spoon used for decorating, and what makes it so unique is that it has interchangeable mesh bowls that vary in size. So depending on the spice of the herb that you're using, if it's a strong herb like a nutmeg or a chili powder or paprika, you use a finer one. If you're decorating for herbs or something larger, you use the larger spoon. but it's used for appetizers, desserts, fruit, entrees, anything that you might want the finishing touch on. How did you come up with this? With it because it was a holiday and I was making deviled eggs. And after I had them done and I went to put the paprika on, the paprika went everywhere.
Well, show us while you're talking.
Too much on some and not enough on others. So it's designed with a long handle, and so it'll fit deep into spice jars. And then you just tap the product, the spices exactly where you want. You can do it right on your serving plate. There's no mess. There's no waste.
We're running out of time. How do I find this and how much?
It's $14.95, and you can find it at thespifter.com.
So is it still $14.95?
No, it's $19.99.
That's not bad inflation for 6 years ago was when that was actually on the air. I was thinking of so many. I was like, okay, I could crush up my my little dried herbs that I like to sprinkle because I'm so meticulous. Like when I'm doing something with chicken or whatever, pepper and stuff, I gotta tap the little thing. I want it, and I don't like to waste.
Yeah.
I don't like to waste. I'll take a credit card or something and scoop it back off the counter. No.
And not only that, you know what, now, especially you don't your fingers don't get dirty. You don't put germs on your food because you're sprinkling with your hands. Like it has so many great uses. There's a wholesale glitter manufacturer and stores, and they buy them by the carton. They buy hundreds at a time because it's a great thing for, using glitter.
I hadn't even thought of that.
And it's so great when you open up a bottle of wine, how sometimes you get cork in the wine. Yeah. When you hold it over your glass, it aerates the wine and collects the cork too. Like there's so many uses.
So many. Remind the folks again where they can go and get their own.
So it's called the Spifter, Spifter. So it's on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search Spifter sifting spoon.
Awesome. Yeah. So there you go. Get your Spifter today. Great stocking stuffer, by the way. Get ahead of the game, right? Get ahead of the game. So I wanted to go into your TEDx talk. You've done a TEDx talk, and it was about transitions. Now, here's the interesting part. When I went looking for maybe I could find a great clip on transitions, it was all about, sex change and this, that, and the other. There was nothing about transitioning within your own life from one person to the next, from one place to the next. Give us a Reader's Digest version, if you could, of this TED Talk, and why did you choose that topic?
Well, this is a unique situation, you guys. This is like magic really happens in my life. Magic happens in all our lives if we're totally open to it. That was actually, I got invited to go to, to do that talk. I didn't have to apply for it. And I totally manifested the whole thing. It's a story for another day, but here's where I come from with all my work. So I want you to have this intention. Think about this intention when you're doing this in your life. People want to change. They don't know how to change sometimes. And the obvious way to change that I've discovered is our thoughts create our feelings, which creates our communication, which creates our manifestations. So if we can change our language, we can change our life. So what I did in that TED Talk is I taught people their power by making them grow their hand. I actually made them grow their hand. So they saw what the power of their thoughts could do in as little as a few seconds. And then I had them close their eyes, and I did one of these things that I do called a mantra meditation. I create these. I've got tons of them. All my private clients get them. But I read that, and it's called Powerful Self-Love. And they all just listen to the words. And what I basically told them is, I am the one in the power. I can forgive everyone of anything that's ever happened to me in my entire life. I get to decide how I want to live, how I want to feel. I get to choose. I am loving, lovable, and so loved. And, and it was all empowerment like that. And they were shifted. They came up to me after and said, you were the reason I was here today. I needed to hear that today. So transitioning starts with, what are you saying? What are the words that you're saying, using to describe you or other people? And how by pivoting that, you can start really shifting and transitioning your life. Yeah.
So love that. I love that. So let's go into, what do we got? Okay, 10 minutes. Your podcast and your show. I
Yeah.
have today, and you're consistent. The book, the show, the podcast. I'm not budging. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Right? My name is Diane Forster, and I endorse this message. So
Yes.
tell people why that is your cause. It's important to know what you're an authority on.
Yeah. As I had the bathroom moment, that was in 2011. In 2013, now I was already awakening. All the creation process was already happening in a lot of different ways. I had the experience with the spifter, and I thought, if I could create something from nothing there, what else can I do?
I never
And
bought just one thing.
the droppings were coming in, and I woke up one morning in August of 2013 with a poem in my head that was called I Have Today. And I wrote it down as fast as I could. It's in the front of my book. And it was, I have today to start fresh and new. I have today to see things with new eyes. I have today to nurture my spirit, mind, and body. Now, while I had that moment with the spifter, the frustration in the kitchen, and I could see the product, same thing when I finished writing this poem. I said, oh my God, this is way more than a poem. This is a movement. This is what Spirit was talking about in the bathroom 2 years ago. And I could see I Have Today Productions. I could see it. I could see the books. I could see me speaking. I could see the TV show. I could see this multimedia global company in front of me. And it was, oh, thanks for the hearts, guy. And it was overwhelming, Lauren, like, whoa, this is so big. I'm just going to take this in a little bit. But that's what precipitated all of this happening. And so that was in 2013, and I was noodling around with it. And then in 2015, in the spring, before I moved to San Diego, I moved to San Diego in the fall, I hired a book coach, somebody to help me write the book. And the second I hired that book coach, it's like the floodgates opened. It's like Spirit was waiting for me to do that. So it's the intention. So the development of all my beliefs, all my processes, all of these things are all linked to this, what I call and I teach, my core anchor. And my core anchor is I Have Today, and it's the art of intentional living. Therefore, it is the name of my show. It is the name of my podcast. It is the name of my first book. My second book is called A Better Today. So wherever you are in your business or life, whatever it is you want to do, keep this in mind. Nike never goes off brand. Starbucks never goes off brand. Right. Apple never goes off brand. McDonald's never goes off brand. We never go off brand. I have to teach my team this. So it is our core anchor and is what we are known for. So everything in my business as we're developing has to run through that filter. And I know this from my ad days and my television sales days. So that's who I am. And that's why I endorse this message, because it goes through the filter of I Have Today, intentional living.
And what I love about that, because it's just so, sometimes the most obvious things are the ones that elude us the most often.
Yeah.
And you can't change yesterday. You can change what you do with what happened yesterday, but you can't change yesterday because it's gone. And you can think about tomorrow, you can plan for it, but you can't do anything within it until it gets here. But where are you right now? And that's why I tell people, when people say, Lauren, I'm trying to help me. I just want to get from point A to point B. I say, well, point A is where you're at. Point B is everything beyond where you're at. So now we're in point B, because we're not where we were a second ago. Just live moment to moment. And why is that so important, everybody? Because many of us, like when Diane was in the bathroom and the pills got slapped out, when wherever you were, if you've ever had one of those, I don't want to be here ever again moments any longer. I can't take it. I'm tired. Well, think about it. How did you get through it? How did you get through it? It was something in that moment that pushed you through it. I remember people used to say, you know, the information they meant well, Diane, they meant well, but they were like talking about down the road. And I was trying to manage how to get to the next hour.
Yeah.
Not the next week, not the next month. I needed to get through the next 5 minutes so I could get through this hour to get through this day. And so there it is, right there at the end, today. So the book, Amazon, you can get it, and I bet you can find it on your website, right?
Yep. It's on my website as well at dianeforster.com. Yeah.
There, it's right there
Yeah.
on the screen. And tell them what day and time they can catch your show and where.
Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific time on E360 TV network, and obviously on Facebook and YouTube. And both of those are called I Have Today with Diane Forster. So easy to remember.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
time
The TV host maker link that's up there is, Lauren and I are TV hosts, and the world is seeking more TV hosts, really good ones who produce quality shows like Lauren does. And so that's a free masterclass that I'm offering to help give you the 7 secrets to become a dynamic TV host. So
we like
what?
I said, we love free.
Oh yeah, it's totally free.
But I had to come back and fix it. I love free.
Yeah.
A lot of quality in there, a lot of value. And so listen, right now you may be thinking, me, TV, me, whatever. It's free. Go in. You might hear one word. I know in my life, in my journey, it took one word that was divinely placed within one sentence, within one passage, one paragraph that changed my life forever. Yeah. So go in, check it out. Even if you have an inkling, or maybe people have been telling you, you ought to get into fill in the blank. That's the beginning of a fan base, y'all. So, people, when they say that, you got to believe them. TVHostmaker.com. I'm going to take the liberty of dropping both of these links inside your comment section at the conclusion of today's broadcast for easy access. So there you go. Diane Forster. I want you to have a Jerry Springer moment to just leave people with, if they were to, when the world puts them on mute, and they feel no one sees them, no one hears them, no one cares. What would you hope they hear from you in that moment? I'm going to let you take the stage for this.
Oh gosh. Yeah. That there are no accidents or mistakes, that you are here for a reason. There's a 400 trillion to 1 odd of you being born. You are a miracle. And that the dark moments that we have in our lives, if you can remember that, as difficult as it is on one end of the spectrum, law of polarity means there's something that much more extraordinary waiting for you on the other side. It's just a moment. It's just a moment, and it'll pass.
Yay. I second that emotion. You guys, because I tell you all the time, it's never about just one thing. It is not. And just remember, when something seems to be trying its damnedest to shut you down, shut you up, hold you down, just ask one question. Now, what could be so wonderful that something is trying so hard to keep me from it? Listen, Diane, a pleasure. We got to have you back. Thank you so much. You guys catch the show and all things Spifter at DianeForster.com and also at the TVHostmaker.com. Listen, our time is over. But just for now, live for today, like Diane said. I will see you all tomorrow, God willing, out front on our front porch when we come together to fulfill that promise again with another illuminated conversation right here on Bathrobe Moments. Diane, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, anytime. You guys have a great day. I'm Laura Michaels Harris, and I'll see you tomorrow. Be the blessing you want to receive. Bye-bye.